The fire eats its wood in silence. No one speaks. No child whimpers. The rhythm of life, the constant, reassuring percussion of stone on stone, of hide being scraped, of seeds being ground, has ceased. The only sound is the wind, a lonely predator whining at the mouth of the Denisove cave. A sound that has always been there but is now, suddenly, the only thing they can hear. She is still, the old one, the woman whose hands were a map of the clan's entire history, lies on the bearskin she claimed decades ago, her chest, a bellows that for seasons uncounted drew in the thin, cold air of the Altai Mountains, does not rise. Her eyes, which held the memory of every hunt, every birth, and every winter starvation, are closed. It is a stillness the clan has seen before, in the rigid limbs of a cave lion or the glazed eye of a deer. But this is different. This stillness is inside their home. It is a part of them. The brutal reality of prehistoric life is that death is a constant companion, but it is meant to stay outside, a thing that happens to prey or to the unwary. When it comes inside the shelter, it poisons the air. Her absence is not a space, it is a weight. The large male, his brow heavy with a confusion he cannot articulate, looks from her body to the entrance of the cave. His instinct, honed over a lifetime of survival, screams at him, move. A body that does not breathe invites scavengers, invites sickness, invites a badness that has no name. But his feet are roots, tangled in a new kind of earth. He cannot leave her. No one can. A young female, the old one's last daughter, stares at the familiar lithic scatter near the fire pit. It is where her mother sat, day after day, her gnarled fingers transforming river cobbles into keen-edged tools. Now, the half-finished scrapers and flint cores are just rocks, their purpose extinguished. This is the core of their paralysis. The old one was their foresight. She knew the language of the clouds, the habits of the migrating woolly rhino, the secret places where Yara grew. Without her, they are adrift on a frozen, unforgiving sea. They are a body without a head, a spear without a point. This is the dawn of a question that has no answer, a primal fear that is not of the dark or of a predator's teeth, but of a future that is suddenly, terrifyingly, blank. The spell of silence is broken not by a sound, but by a decision. The young female, the daughter, rises. Her movements are stiff, hesitant. She walks to the hearth, to the cold stones where her mother spent her life. Her eyes scan the flint tools, the legacy of 100,000 precise strikes. She does not take an unfinished piece. She selects a hand axe, a perfect take-you-lean teardrop of chert, its edges so keen they seem to hum in the low light. It is her mother's masterpiece, a tool that took days to perfect, a tool that could butcher a bison or strip the bark from a tree with equal grace. It is a thing of immense value, a key to survival. Holding it, she walks back to the body. The others watch, their breath held. This is not instinct. This is the beginning of symbolic behavior, a neurological leap across a chasm of incompression errand. She kneels, and with a tenderness that defies the harshness of their existence, places the stone axe into her mother's limp hand, curling the cold fingers around its grip. It is an illogical act. A perfectly crafted tool is being given to the one thing that has no more need of it. Yet, in the shared gaze of the clan, it makes a new kind of sense. The large male, seeing this, understands something without words. He turns to the small niche where he keeps his treasures, the claw of a cave bear, a fossilized shell, and the iridescent tail feather of a bird seen only in the summer. He takes the feather, a sliver of impossible blue and green, and lays it across the old one's chest. Another follows, a young boy who was her shadow. He offers his own prize, a river stone, worn perfectly smooth and drowned by a million years of current. He places it near her head, a silent, solid companion. Then, one of the other women comes forward. She carries a lump of soft, dud red rock. The ochre. She grinds it against a flat stone. creating a small pile of brilliant powder. Dipping her fingers into it, she leans over the still face and gently, reverently, draws a single red line across each of the old one's cheeks, the color of life, painted onto the face of death. This is the heart of the hard choice, to give what is valuable, what is useful, what is beautiful, to the void. It is an act of profound, communal altruism, a desperate protest against the finality of loss. The body is no longer a problem to be disposed of. It has become a vessel for their grief, their memory, and their love. The air in the cave shifts. The weight of grief remains, but the paralysis is gone, replaced by shade, unspoken purpose. The large male looks at the others, a silent communication passing between them more eloquent than any word. The body cannot stay, but they will not simply cast it out. They will give it to the earth. He and another male move to the burskin, taking the edges. They lift. The movement is slow, a heavy, coordinated effort. The young female, the daughter, walks ahead, guiding them out of the cave's entrance into the thin, biting light of the late afternoon. They carry her past the ashi, past the boneyard of ancient hunts, to a small alcove in the limestone cliff face, a place sheltered from the worst of the wind. Here, the ground is softer, using sharpened sticks and the broad, flat shoulder blades of a giant deer. They begin to dig. The work is hard, the Paleolithic soil unforgiving. Each scoop of earth is a monumental effort. Every member of the clan who is able takes a turn. Children, their faces streaked with dirt and dar, move smaller stones out of the way. It is a slow, rhythmic process, a communal dance of farewell. The scraping a bone on earth is the first funeral dirge. They are not merely digging a hole. They are carving a space out of the world, a final cradle. When it is deep enough, no more than a few feet but an immense labor, they lower her in. The blue-green feather shifts, a last flash of color before the shadows take you. The red ochre on her cheeks seems to glow against the pallor of her skin. For a long moment, they stand at the edge, looking down. This is the precipice of a new kind of thought, a glimpse into the profound mystery of taphonomy. The journey of what was once life becoming a permanent part of the stone and soil. They are creating a future record, an echo they cannot possibly comprehend. If you feel the pull of that echo, the silent testament of these ancient humans and their dawning consciousness, then touch the stone beside you and join the chronicle. The daughter is the first to act. She pushes a small pile of loose earth over the edge. It lands softly on the burskin. The sound is a punctuation mark, the end of a sentence that has lasted a lifetime. The large male follows, rolling a heavy, flat stone into the depression, covering her feet. Soon, they all join in, a quiet, desperate haste to finish what they have started. The earth embraces its own. Slowly, painstakingly, they fill the grave, burying their grief, their love, and their offerings under a mound of rock and soil. They have not defeated death. They have built it a home. As the last stone is set and the clan turns back toward the firelight, something fundamental has shifted in the code of human evolution. This was more than a burial. It was the construction of memory. On this frozen mountainside, these hominid ancestors did not just hide a body from hyenas, they consecrated a place, anchoring their abstract feelings of loss to a physical point in the landscape. This act, born of a pain they could not name, is the bedrock of culture. It is the first line of a story that leads directly to cathedrals, to pyramids, to the simple, marked graves in our own communities. By refusing to let the old one simply vanish, by adorning her with symbols and enclosing her in the earth, they forged a new connection between the living and the dead, a bond that transcended the brutal finality of biology. They created the first ghost, a presence that would live on in a specific place. In their shared memory, sustained by ritual, their struggle whispers a fundamental truth about our own survival. We endure not just by finding food or shelter, but by creating meaning in the face of a meaningless void. The chronicle is not written in stone, but in the silences between the heartbeats of those who remember. What happens when the first story they tell is a lie?